Welcome back to the Science Show. Today we will be talking about cell transport. Let's say you're looking at a chain link fence. Okay, you want to go through it, but you run straight into the fence head on. What happened? You were too big to get through the fence because maybe you were eating too many donuts. You should go on a diet. But anyways, a mosquito can fit through it because it's smaller than the hole, and that's pretty much what selectively permeable is. If a virus, which is way too big to get through the pores of a cell membrane, tries to get in to infect the cell, it can't. It's too big. If oxygen, on the other hand, O2, wants to go in the cell, it can because it's small enough to. Next is diffusion. With diffusion, things in highly concentrated areas go into lowly concentrated areas without using any energy, which is also called passive transport. High concentrated mean lots of things in one area, and low means the opposite. Say there's 40 people in a tiny room. They probably want to get out of that room, or not, I don't know. They're people, not oxygen. Say you open the door to that room. The people would spill out of the room really fast. That's like diffusion. And remember, children, always think before you eat your donuts.
My name is Anthony, and today I'm talking about active transport. So let's say there's a low concentration outside of a cell and a high concentration inside the cell. The cell can't get the potassium that it wants, or can it? The cell will use active transport to get the potassium inside where there's a high concentration. You're probably wondering how the cell can do this. Well, the cell uses an ATP, adenosine triphosphate, breaks off a phosphate and attaches it to the protein in the cell wall. The phosphate gives the protein energy to pinch the potassium, forcing it inside the cell. Sometimes the cell might not want all the salt it has. It will do the same thing to get the salt out. The cell doesn't only have one way to do active transport. It can form a vesicle around what it wants to grab or get rid of. For example, the cell wants to grab a potassium that's floating by. It will make a vesicle using the cell membrane. The vesicle will surround the potassium and pull it in. There is one other way a cell can do active transport. It's called engulfing. The membrane surrounds a particle and then pinches off and forms a vacuole inside the cell. This process uses energy. Osmosis. Osmosis is when the solvent moves to the solute. The solvent is a liquid that moves and the solute is a solid that can't move. Say you have two containers that are connected in the middle. The containers are both filled with water. One container has a solid like salt in it. The other only has water in it. Only the water can pass through the middle because it's small enough and the salt can't. The water will go to the side with the salt to break it down and equal out between both containers. If this was diffusion, since the salt was a highly concentrated area and the other container was a lowly concentrated area, the salt would go to the container with the water, but it is too big, so it can't. That's it. Thanks for watching.